Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. Earlier today, Amit Shah was officially declared the new president of the Bharatiya Janata Party. On the one hand, he's the architect of the BJP's spectacular election victory, but on the other, he's also accused of 3 murder charges and could end up a huge embarrassment for his party. So is his appointment a wise decision or a grave risk? That's the debate in part 2. But first, the scuffle in Parliament that's all over the front pages and all over the television screens. Yesterday, BJP and TMC MPs behaved in an unacceptable and unruly fashion in the Lok Sabha. Today, that incident led to protests both outside and inside Parliament. So tonight we ask, who did what to whom? How should this matter be handled? And how justified is the Trinamool party's wrath? That's the first debate. And now joining me to discuss the trouble in Parliament is Trinamool MP Kakoli Ghosh Dastidar, BJP MP Rajiv Pratap Rudi, BJD MP Jay Panda, and the well-known author and columnist Shobha De. Kakoli Dastidar, many people are both disturbed and perplexed by yesterday's developments in Parliament, but also, to be honest, a little unsure of what happened. So can you, in a simple, straightforward way, tell me what exactly happened to you yesterday?
At the onset, I would like to correct you. You just used the word scuffle. And as far as my knowledge goes, scuffle is used when 2 sides are involved in a common battle, kind of a thing, a very minor battle. What happened yesterday is we were protesting in the well of the House against the deprivation of Bengal in the railway budget. And it was being done in a fashion by raising slogans which is acceptable in parliamentary norms. And suddenly we found about 6 to 7 honourable members from the ruling side hurling abusive language towards our leader, Bengal Chief Minister Srimati Mamata Banerjee, and coming towards us. So as they came towards the women MPs standing towards the right of the Honourable Speaker, and we had turned to face them, then they said that they were going to disrobe us and beat us up. So hearing this, some of the gentlemen members of our party, they got upset and they came rushing and saying, why are you saying this? But even after that, even after correction, they said, "Char thappar marega." So this is what really, put a scare into us, and we ran out because we were scared by their attack. And the marshals also, instead of stopping them, pushed our young member Abhishek Banerjee. So we ran out and we went to the media.
Can I stop you at that point?
Our sad story. That's it.
Let me ask you 2 quick questions. First of all, was one of the MPs who, as you say, sought to attack you a BJP MP called Hari Narayan Rajbhar? That was the name your colleague Shaugato Roy has given the press today. Can you confirm that?
They must have found out. We don't know any of them. At least I don't know any of them. They seem to be new to me. But if he's given it, he must have found out.
Secondly, was any of the BJP MPs who threatened to attack you drunk? You seem to have said that to one of the papers today.
Well, if somebody from the party has said, he must have found out. But what I can confirm is this gentleman, he had red eyes, his hair was dishevelled, and he was in a precarious condition, so to say. And I was very scared of him, to be very honest.
When you say he was in a precarious condition and you say his eyes were red, are you suggesting he may have been intoxicated? I'm asking you bluntly.
May have been. His look was suggestive of such a thing.
Jay Panda, you're a member of the Lok Sabha. I believe you were there for at least part of this particular incident described by Kakoli Dastidar. Can you confirm what happened? Were you an eyewitness?
Well, I was an eyewitness to the first part of it when the Trinamool members were raising slogans and then they went down into the well of the House. But I was not near the benches where this apparent altercation took place with the BJP members, so I can't confirm what was said or exchanged there.
But when Kakoli Dastidar says that BJP MPs, 5 or 6, she says, threatened to attack her and her colleagues, threatened to disrobe them, I think was the word she used. Can you confirm all of that?
No, I was not near enough to hear what was going on, but clearly there were some words exchanged which we could see but could not hear over the din, and it looked like they were having a face-off of some kind. But I can't exchange what words were actually exchanged between them. I can't confirm that.
In other words, they were having a face-off or a verbal quarrel, but you don't know whether threats were handed out by BJP MPs to TMC MPs. That specific second part you can't confirm.
Well, I can clearly confirm that they were not exchanging pleasantries.
Was it also...
So it was obviously...
Was it happening both ways? Was it happening both ways, or was it one-sided?
Look, I have to say something about both the parties involved. First of all, I've been in Parliament for 14 years and I've never been to the well. I do not think it is proper for any member or any groups of MPs to disrupt the House proceedings and to go down into the well.
Okay.
It is not okay to insult leaders of the other parties and certainly not insult the Speaker. But then I believe when that happens, it is up to the Speaker to impose discipline. It is not up to members of other parties to take matters into their own hands and try to intimidate the original disruptors into submission. Both are condemnable.
I take your point. I'll come on to the Speaker's role in a moment's time. I want to stay first with the story Kakoli Dastidar is telling us, which you witnessed, but you can't confirm some of the details of. Rajiv Pratap Rudy, you're General Secretary of the BJP. You're also a very senior Lok Sabha member. How do you respond to what Kakoli Dastidar has said? She's claimed that 5 or 6 of your colleagues were threatening her and her colleagues. They threatened to disrobe them. One of them, she says, had bloodshot eyes. He clearly looked to her as if he was under the influence of alcohol.
Well, I have the highest respect for Kakoli, and she has worked with us. We have worked together in the Standing Committee of Home, where she has always been very active, proactively taking the cause of women and child. But having said that, since I was not a witness to the whole incident, I would not like to make a comment. But she has every right to say what she feels, and whatever may be the situation of provocation. But it's, you see, no one takes what the TMC people say or do in the House today very seriously. And if she alleges that such and such, and you are trying to suggest that some members of Parliament who belong to the BJP came with red eyes, as if they came from a different planet to be in Parliament, and everyone is there in the Parliament. There are 283 members of Parliament of the BJP and 542. There is only one person who witnesses this, and others don't. And here is Mr. Karan Thapar, who is saying that he may have been drunk, or I do not
Karan
know what
Thapar is not saying it, forgive me. I was repeating what Kakoli Dastidar said. I was repeating it for your benefit because you were late in joining us.
It seems, no, I'm not very late. I have heard everything. As if Madam Kakoli has instituted FIR in the police station, and there are witnesses who are being cross-examined. Like first is Mr. Jay Panda, second is Rajiv Pratap Rudy. Now, please, Mr. Karan, I think you should have chosen a better topic for the day. There are many more issues.
You could have refused to participate if you don't like the topic. You were aware of the topic when I invited you. You could have refused to participate.
Please, Mr. Karan Thapar, please, Mr. Karan Thapar, if the Speaker has not taken cognizance, who is the protector of the House, and if Madam Kakoli had such an issue, there is a gentleman who keeps screaming and shouting. He instigates people to come in the floor of the House, in the well of the House.
Mr. Rudy,
they disturb the House. They take the House to a ransom. And here is a...
Let's keep these short answers. There are other people waiting to join this discussion.
What short answers, Mr. Karan Thapar?
You're rubbishing the story I'm doing. You have a right to do it, but I'm simply pointing out you willingly accepted when I invited you, and I invited you 24 hours ago. So clearly 24 hours ago you were happy to participate. Let me bring in Shobha De. Shobha De, you're hearing from Rajiv Pratap Rudy that this is...
I'm not unhappy to participate, Mr. Karan Thapar. What I'm trying to say is, it seems that Madam Kakoli has lodged an FIR in a police station, and we are witnesses, and you are the cross-examiner or the police inspector.
Well, no, that's
trying to
not the
decide what
case.
happened
Forgive
in the
me.
house.
I am not the
You do not
cross-examiner.
enjoy the
I'm
liberty
simply
of
a journalist
cross-examination of
inquiring into
individuals
an
in the house.
issue that has surprised and shaken and disturbed the
This is
country.
not
Can I
issue.
bring in
You
someone
can-
else
you are-
rather
you
than
are
make this a
inquiring
dialogue
like a
between you and me? There are
police
three other
inspector.
guests
You
who I
are
think should be
asking
given a
Mr.
chance to
Jay
speak.
Panda to stand as a witness.
Yes, you're
First
not
you are
standing as a
taking
witness. Please
what
not
the
exaggerate the situation,
what
Mr.
the
Rudy.
What the
Mr. Rudy,
person is
can I
agreed,
give
he is
someone
speaking,
else a chance
then
to
you are calling
speak?
Jay Panda to become a witness.
Mr.
Then you
Rudy.
are calling Rajiv Pratap Rudy to be.
Mr. Rudy, are you in an obstructionist mood who's decided that the only way this discussion can happen is if you don't actually let other people speak? Because at the moment I get a dialogue from you in a very fractured sense, which I don't want this show to become. Let me bring in Shobha De. Shobha De, on the one hand, you're hearing Rajiv Pratap Rudy suggest that this is not a fit subject for discussion. You're hearing him say that somehow it is being expanded into a court of trial, which he disapproves of. On the other hand, this is an issue that, as far as the press is concerned, has disturbed the country and shaken the country. Two quick questions, and I'll ask you for two short answers. First of all, is this a subject worth discussing and taking seriously?
Oh, most definitely, Karan. I don't know what Rudy is talking about. How can he even say something like this? If it were not important enough, we wouldn't be debating it in the first place. And like you pointed out to him, he had 24 hours to think about its importance. Clearly, he's on the show because he is there to do some sort of damage control. It's a bit too late for that.
As if Jay
But
Panda
to
is
go
put
back-
as a witness
to
in the
go
house and
back
Rajiv
to-
Pratap Rudy is a
I
witness.
wish you wouldn't interrupt. I wish you wouldn't
Ma'am, I
interrupt.
Mr. Rudy,
appreciate
Mr.
you.
Rudy, can we let
Don't
someone
interrupt.
else speak?
Members of
I'll come
question
back to
was
you.
asked to me, please allow me a chance to respond. As far as
Yes, I'll
it
give
is
you,
a
but
very
please try
disturbing
to understand what
what
I
has
say.
happened.
Please try to
It's like
understand what I
the
said.
parliament.
Rudy,
You are giving
let
the
us speak.
complete
I'll come
blanket
back
to
to
these
you.
members of parliament
Either
from
he
PHC.
speaks or
You
I
have the
speak,
liberty to
Karan,
go and
please
do anything in
control
the
him. He
well.
thinks
And
he's
you're
still in
trying to say
parliament.
that
Mr.
BJP
Rudy,
members
Mr.
of
Rudy,
parliament have
Please
come
control
Mr.
drunk
Rudy,
to the house.
gentlemen.
you're a gentleman. It is
Then
rude
I
to
would listen to
continually
everything
interrupt
what
other
you say, but
people.
you want
I'll come
to-
back to you.
You are saying...
Mr. Rudy, I'll come
Mr.
back to you, but
Thakur,
surely
you are
other
saying that
people have a
BJP
right to
member of
speak. You're an
parliament,
MP who respects
someone
democratic
celebrated
rights.
on the TV studios,
Let
BJP
Shobha De
members of
speak. I'll
parliament
come
have
back
come
to you.
drunk to the house, and this incident has happened because of that. This is what you started your basic
Mr. Rudy, you should know
basic
better.
premise was
Just
this.
allow someone else
No,
to
I
speak.
didn't start with any basic premise, so come back. Mr. Rudy, I'll come back to you later. I think it's only fair other people should have a chance to speak. Shobha De, go ahead.
of parliament came drunk to the house with red shot
I cannot
eyes.
speak
and
above
then
a
this-
man.
I was repeating, Mr. Rudy, what Kakoli Dastidar had said, and I was repeating it for your benefit because, as I said a moment ago, you joined the show after it began. I only thought it was fair you should hear fully what she said. I wasn't making it up. It wasn't my premise either. I was repeating what she said. Now, let's go back to Shobha De. Shobha De, please carry on. If need be, we will have to reduce Mr. Rudy's volume so that Shobha De can be heard. Carry on, Shobha De.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But you know what has happened is that parliamentary proceedings have been degraded and diminished. These are not parliamentarians. It's like a circus out there with no ringmaster to control these animals. This is the worst form of behavior, and it is shameful that we don't have a red card in parliament or even a yellow card. Some sort of strictures have to be maintained, some discipline has to be maintained. And as for the charges made by Ms. Dastidar, there are enough people in parliament who can either corroborate what took place, and I'm really very amused by Jay Panda's comment that clearly they weren't exchanging pleasantries. No, Mr. Jay Panda, they certainly were not. There must be enough people to say what that exchange was about and whether or not indeed one of the people she's talking about was drunk. It's not that tough to establish.
Okay.
Surely. There were enough people to prove or disprove what she was saying.
I always seem to have lost the line to Shobha De. That critical
That a
point.
TMC person is talking about hooliganism. I mean, that is the irony. TMC talking
Okay.
about hooliganism and Gundaism. This is what their party is known for. This is what they've indulged in.
You're
they have
Shobha De, Shobha De.
who's a disgrace to women.
You're
So I'm surprised that she can even be taking such a moral high ground to the...
Ma'am, you're not on the same page.
Just a moment. Let me bring in at that point Kakoli Dastidar. Kakoli Dastidar, whilst there is a certain measure of sympathy for the way you were treated, there is also a point being made by Shobha De about the essential hypocrisy of your party when it comes to complaints about the way women are treated. Today you are angry, Mamta Banerjee is angry, your colleagues in parliament are angry. But have you forgotten how Mamta Banerjee behaved when Tapan Pal said that he would let loose his boys to rape the wives of his opponents. At that point in time, she accepted an apology is sufficient. When she was further questioned, she said, what should I do? Should I kill him? And people get the impression that the TMC has double standards. There's one standard when Tappan Pal is responsible for bad behavior. There's another standard when you're accusing the BJP of bad behavior. Don't you think that if you want to be taken seriously, you need to have one set of standards, not two?
What would you like to have? That she killed him? Or for that matter of fact, have we demanded that somebody be put to the gallows just because of this? We were very, very apprehensive of the behavior of the ruling party MPs when they came rushing at us. We have every right, because Bengal has been deprived in the rail budget.
No, just a
we
moment.
were trying to put our point forward.
Can I come back? Can I come back? You said, what would I like her to have done to have killed him? She settled for an apology in the Pal case. If you get an apology from the BJP MPs, will you settle for that? Is the word sorry sufficient?
We demanded exactly that. And today when I started my speech on price rise, I said, being an Indian woman, I stand in the parliament inside the house very sad that even a sorry was not uttered from these gentlemen.
So I want to interrupt you because I want to be clear. You're saying to me a simple apology would be sufficient to end this matter. Have I understood you correctly?
I am sure a senior person, when saying sorry, realizes the mistake and promises never to do it again.
All right.
This is not for me, this is for the Indian woman.
All right.
It's for the Indian woman.
Fine.
Every Indian woman.
A simple apology would be sufficient. Let me bring you in, Mr. Rudy, and put this to you. When Mr. Modi made his very impressive first speech in the Lok Sabha, he spent a lot of time speaking with genuine emotion about the way women were treated, the enormous respect he had for them, and how he abhorred the way people with their attitudes to women were demeaning them. Now, serious allegations have been made about some BJP MPs. I admit they're only allegations. The facts clearly are disputed by our party, but there are serious allegations being made about the way BJP MPs have treated women. What do you think Mr. Modi should do? Should he ask those MPs concerned to apologize? Should he look into the matter and investigate it? Because after all, he's the one who made that very eloquent speech about the need to maintain the sanctity of women.
Karan, what you're saying is you are speculating a subject. You see, BJP, if any member of parliament would have behaved what you are suggesting, no one would have spared them, and this is exactly what we know. Here is a situation where the speaker is not confirming, the house is not confirming. There is an individual member who all have a habit of coming into the floor of house, calling the speaker names, calling every member of parliament in the house, the TMC members of parliament, almost virtually call and disturb every member of parliament who speaks in the house. They think they are the people who carry the flag for the rights of every individual. And I can tell you, if these TMC people keep on behaving the way they are behaving in the house, the same thing would happen to them what happened to the Samajwadi Party and the BSP in Uttar Pradesh. People of this country are watching this TMC, walking into the house, even when the presidential address was being made in the house by me. Every sentence which I spoke, they disturbed us. So these people have come with a complete agenda that they want to create a situation in the house. And just look at how they were running out of the house.
So then does it follow from your answer that Mr. Modi need not worry about these allegations? Is that what you're saying to me?
Instead of going to the speaker, they were running to the cameras. This is what is the difference. Instead of going to the speaker, who is the custodian, all of them were running to the cameras as if something had happened inside the house. So basically they want to do this gimmick, they want to publicize it, they want to create sympathy, but their own party members and own members of parliament are talking that people should go, that the workers will go.
You made an important point, Mr. Rudy. Let Kakoli Dastidar answer. Kakoli Dastidar, very quickly.
And I can tell you,
have you filed a formal complaint with the speaker? Number one, do you intend to file a formal complaint with the police? Number two, give me a quick answer to those two before I go to Jay Panda. A quick answer.
The speaker has not taken cognizance.
Kakoli Dastidar, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
He has to keep quiet.
We will reduce his volume, don't worry. We will reduce his volume. Answer my question specifically. Have you made a complaint to the speaker?
So, yes. The first thing that we did was to go to the speaker's room. Our chief whip went into the speaker's room. Honorable Speaker was not available. When he came back, he found that they were coming to hit us. So we ran out, and we've also...
Do you
raised it
intend
on the
to make
floor
a
of the
formal
House
written complaint today?
Yesterday.
Just a moment. Do you intend to make a formal written complaint today?
Let me finish. Yesterday, it was raised on the floor of the House by our Honourable Member Sri Shobhut Roy under specific rule, and today we have given it in writing to Honourable Speaker.
Okay.
What else do you want us to do?
That's perfect. You've answered my question completely. Jay Panda, you were the person who a moment ago said that in fact this was an issue that needed to be resolved by the Speaker. It shouldn't be resolved by the leaders of the parties, of the 2 MPs or the 3 MPs involved. What do you think the Speaker should do, given that this is a grave situation, given that it is an allegation of what amounts to threat of intimidation or molestation? That's what it amounts to if the allegation is true. Therefore, what should the Speaker do?
I believe there are 3 issues that the Speaker needs to address.
Go ahead.
I believe there are 3 issues that the Speaker needs to address. Number 1 is, I understand that the Trinamool members have indeed apologized today for calling the Speaker names, and I think that ought to be left there and not taken any further. I believe the Speaker also ought to address the issue of the Trinamool members disrupting House, because I don't think this country is prepared to tolerate the kind of parliamentary functioning that we saw for the last 5 years in the 15th Parliament. I think that has to change. I think there are other better ways of registering protest for feeling neglected by the centre, and we certainly do that a lot by the Biju Janata Dal without disrupting the House. The third thing the Honourable Speaker needs to address is that it needs to be established whether indeed the allegations made against the BJP MP are verifiable, because there was a lot of din in the House. Some of us were far away, but as I think Shobha Dey was pointing out, there must have been other members and also table office officials near the well who would have heard, and if they can indeed verify that verify the TMC's allegations, then I think the Speaker ought to indeed take a stern stand, because if this is the attitude, we need to have a very modern attitude and liberal attitude towards the treatment of women inside the House if we are to provide that kind of a safety in lawmaking for women at large in the country.
Shobha Dey, do you believe, as someone who is an independent commentator, that this is a test for our new Speaker? Do you also believe that this is a new law for our Parliament, and in that light it is incumbent on the Speaker to take effective action and quickly so that confidence in Parliament and MPs can be rebuilt? Answer both questions together quickly, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because unless it's done, this kind of what I would say cholbe na at all behavior will continue, and Jatra style of politics will be encouraged. And it's Mr. Rudy is completely right. It's playing to the cameras because bad behavior gets more press. That's become the rule. But it looked like a very staged protest, and certainly they were running out in panic like there was a bomb attack in Parliament. So the Speaker must set the tone, set the rules, and take strong disciplinary action when required, and do so swiftly so that the message goes across that this kind of behavior by parliamentarians behaving like rowdies in Parliament and really shaming the rest of India by their antics is completely conduct most unbecoming and most unacceptable. It has to be done, and done very fast.
Rajiv Pratap Rudy, are you worried that this budget session, which has got off to an unruly and unfortunate start, could now go steadily worse? Does that worry you? A quick answer, because then I'll end.
No, I'm sure all are responsible members of Parliament. They will come back and understand. But few things must be, the very first day, all these members of Parliament from the opposition and basically the TMC, they are fancy the idea of coming into the well and shouting slogans against the Prime Minister right away, even the first day, without any reason. They come and make references to the Honourable Speaker, and first they should stay back in your seat. Whatever they have to speak, they should speak from the chairs, and should stop this practice of coming into the well of the House. At least can't we send a new president in the 15th Lok Sabha, the 16th Lok Sabha? And that is exactly what I'm trying to say. I would not condone the act of any of the members of Parliament who misbehave with ladies. Absolutely not. There is no question, and action should be taken. But in a situation where the provocation comes from the opposition bench, and whether these members of Parliament from our side have actually done anything like that, and an allegation that their eyes were red and they were drunk, I don't think this is a fair comment on your fellow colleagues unless it's verified. And what are the image are you sending to the people of the country? And every now and then, this is the TMC which is behaving like SP, BSP and all others, and the Aam Aadmi follows them, and they also enjoy the Aam Aadmi members of parliament run after them. So let's start behaving ourselves. I think we have to restrain ourselves, and they also have to behave if they want the parliament to function properly.
Okay, those are very wise words spoken by a very mature MP. We have to restrain ourselves, but they also have to behave properly. Let that in fact be advice for all MPs, particularly when they realize that the country is watching them and expects them to set a standard for the rest of us, not fall to this abysmal low. My thanks to all four of my guests, and my apologies if there was any misunderstanding between Mr. Rood and me at the beginning of this discussion.